Alrighty, fellas, enough memeing. Let's go ahead and get started. Yo, what's up? My name's Petrowski. How are we doing today? Welcome back to another PokeMMO stream recap. And we have a few things I want to do today. I mean, first things first, we broke the shiny dry streak, boys. We should appreciate that. We should say, yo, let's smell the roses. Smell the, the sand slash spikes. That sounds a little... We broke our streak, okay? That's what matters. That's what's important. And that puts me up to... Do I have any other shinies anywhere else? Because I should have, I think it's 48 shinies. I now have 48 shinies. If you include alt account, which not everybody does, alt account OT shinies, or like catch event one shinies with my spin rack. My spin rack is Squirtle OT because it was one from a catch event. There's stuff like that. There's stuff like my Muck, which was gotten on a speed run to a shiny challenge from scratch, so that is an alt account OT. There's things like that, but if you count all of that, it's like 48 OT. If you don't count that, I don't even know actually what is like 42 or something. 1 2 3 4 5, so it'd be 43. So 43 Petrowski OT shinies if you wanted those exact numbers. These are all not OT. These are for different, these are from friends usually. As things down here, like these were given to me as a wedding present when me and my wife got married. This was, what was this? Given to me by someone who quit the game. This was, I bought this from a friend of mine, T-Nums, you might an old Pokemon YouTuber who wanted to sell it, and I thought it was a fantastic shiny, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and buy it from him. If you want it back one day, we can talk about it, etc., etc. So, what are we doing today? We broke the shiny streak. We broke the curse. What are we doing today with that newfound position in the game? I think what I want to do is money making, Pokeyen making. I'm not gaining a consistent stream like I would like. So I want to do some breeding for profit today. I might do a Jimmy run. I want to do some breeding for profit today for sure. The Pokeyen making. I want to log all of my shinies on PokeMMO Zone. That'll be its own videos. That'll be a whole like ramble. There's so much to talk about there. But PokeMMO Zone updated it. So you now want to make an account on that website and log your shinies. So I'm going to start logging my shinies today, and it's going to give us so much more information on how many shinies are caught. You can actually see how many shinies of a specific species of Pokemon exist, at least for, those who have logged it. So I'm really excited to check that out. And maybe we get to like Heatran prep, money making, shiny board, logging, EV/XP training is on the docket, and then maybe Heatran raid prep. Heatran raid prep. Oh, I also breeding for profits, part of the money making. Heatran raid prep is something I do want to work on, and I did want to work on in March. We'll definitely get to it towards the end of March, I think, at the worst case scenario. But I was drier than I expected. I wanted to start Heatran. I wanted to like get my shiny last February and then start Heatran prep beginning of March. But didn't work out like that. Thank you for the Twitch Prime, Rache. So let's just go ahead and get started. First things first, I'm going to start logging shinies on PokeMMO Zone, and then we'll switch over to breeding for profit probably after that is over. This is a great question. Someone said, how hard does this game get? I only played way back when it was just Fire Red Leaf Green. So I played the storylines back when the game was back in 2013 when it was just Fire Red Leaf Green. The storylines are much harder than then, for sure. But they're nothing insane either, right? The Pokemon storylines, I always call them a good middle ground. There's like traditional Pokemon, which is piss easy. There's Pokemon, and then there's like Emerald, what's it called? What do they call it? Fuck. The like super hard ROM hacks, right? It's a Kaizo. This is no Emerald Kaizo, right? There's traditional Pokemon, Pokemon, Kaizo ROM hacks, or other like ROM hacks made to be difficult, right? So Pokemon is a good middle ground where it's nowhere near as hard as Emerald Kaizo, but it's also significantly harder, I would say, than traditional Pokemon. All right, I just finished logging all my shinies into PokeMMO Zone. That took about as long as I expected. It was around an hour and 20 minutes, so it was a long to do, but it was I kind of expected it to be that. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot of information, catch dates, reminiscing, stuff that's talking about how I got the shinies, what they meant to me at the time, etc., etc. But we're back. I'm going to start breeding for profit here in a quick sec, but I do have a few questions to answer. The people were very patient about waiting while I was recording the video. Someone said, speaking of profit, Pat, after completing all the storylines, how much Pokeyen should I have on average? Around 1 million. If you have 1 million Pokeyen after completing all 5 storylines, I would find that very impressive. I would say, if you kept most of it and didn't spend too much, around 500k. I think having anywhere from like 200 to 500k after completing all the five storylines is pretty good. Is quite good. If you finish all 5 storylines and you're under 100k, that puts you in a weird spot, and that's not great because you really want to have that starting cash, but you can still go to the Safari Zone and like earn Pokeyen from scratch that way. So there still are ways out of it, you know. There still are always ways out of it. But great question. I would say around 200 to 500k. If you have 1 million, that's phenomenal. Okay, I want to breed for some profit today. I have no idea what I'm breeding. I don't have a starting point. I have not thought about this. This is just a genuine, earnest show of like what it looks like to jump into breeding for profit on a whim. I want to make some Pokeyen. I could do a Jimmy run, which would make like 300k Pokeyen an hour, and I might do that. But breeding for profit has potential to make insane amounts of profit. First things first, I'm going to collect the yen that I have. I'm going to get a flame body Pokemon in my inventory. That is very, very important. Check that I have dinner status to make sure that it increases the speed of which my eggs hatch. And then I'm also going into today with the thought process of right now in my opinion, we're kind of in a beginner player market. So just Pokemon with like 20 plus attack and speed with like a good nature that are good storyline Pokemon are going to be worth like the most right now, right? Things like this Carp might even be like underpriced. We'll have to see, but these are like, okay, 20 plus attack, 20 plus, 10 plus speed. But so I'm gonna be looking for flips. I could buy this and sell it for like 3k flip, but it's been for 2 days, which is kind of crazy. I'm not sure exactly what I'm gonna be breeding for profit today. Maybe something like a Sandile, as you can see. Look how empty this Sandile market is. To me, that means there's a spot here that I can kind of dip my toes into. I think I can make profit on these. This is not normally how I would breed for profit. I'm gonna get my calculator up in a second. I'm gonna spend 30k on these 3 Sandiles. I wouldn't normally breed for profit. Like, oh yeah, let's breed storyline Pokemon, because usually there's not a whole lot of profit in that. You usually have to like catch them for the real profit. But these are all adamant Sandiles with 20 plus speed. Okay, I paid 30k for 3 of these. What I'm now going to do is go find myself a Ditto with 31 attack and 20 plus speed, which should be decently cheap. And these are 6k a piece. So I'm gonna buy 3 of these. We can search for 25 plus speed because they're all the same. 6, 12, some other stats, 18k, right? We're gonna do plus 18k over here. I'm about to buy 3 braces, which is gonna cost 30k, and then 3 Everstones, which are 5, 6k a piece. So we're going to do plus 15k for the Everstones and then plus 30k for the braces. So to breed all 3 of these Sandiles, it's going to cost me 93k. Let's see if we can profit on this. And I'll show you guys what the breeds look like here in a quick sec. All right, here is breed number 1 coming out 20 plus speed, adamant nature, 31 attack. I have them all lined up here in my PC. Go to quick sec. The more dialogue you go through with the daycare back to back, the faster it'll become. 31 attack, 20 plus speed. You can actually see in live time, he like he cuts away dialogue the more like you breed back to back. 31 speed, 20 plus attack. All these are adamant nature. So that's 3 Sandiles all bred. We know how they're gonna come out, so we can actually just go check how much Pokeyen these are gonna be worth a piece. Let's go see. Now, I think this is overpriced. I'm not gonna sell these for 62k a piece, but this is a good example of quick breeding for profit. I could probably sell these bad boys for 40 to 50k a piece very, very easily. I think 45k is very, very fair. So I paid 93k, right? If I sell 3 of them for 45k, this, and we'll do like we'll do like minus 100k for whatever. This is a quick 35k profit on 3 breeds, which should sell extremely quickly. And yeah, if it has the ability is going to matter. That's honestly a good point. The ability is going to factor in a ton. Which of these have Moxie? Holy shit, good call from chat. So if they have Moxie, I probably sell them for 80k. Like, that's insane. So I might make more. I'm curious to see how much profit we make. That is pretty crazy. That is pretty. So someone said, why Sandile? Crocodile is one of the best storyline Pokemon in PokeMMO, and the reason I feel like right now we're in a storyline, like, beginner Pokemon player market. If you're selling just like level 50 Pokemon, good storyline Pokemon, I feel like these are the best mons to sell right now in the current market. Someone said don't sell under market value, sell for market average. Okay, the problem why this backseat is incorrect, okay, is because of how long things are listed, right? If something is a consistent market, you can sell at the price, right? So you see how all of these Sandiles, 65k, 62k, list for 2 days. That's why I would not list these for that price. I'm not listing for a market average at that point. You should underlist a little bit. I think listing for 50k, 60k, if they've been listed for this long and they're not selling, that means they're incorrectly priced and people aren't willing to pay that amount of Pokeyen. I think it's really important not to undercut markets too much, because usually you're just hurting yourself and the other sellers. You don't want to undervalue your stuff, but you also don't want to look up a hyper specific Pokemon and price it at, like, I see one of the biggest mistakes that new players make is, let's say they have a Sandile that's 31 attack, 30 special attack, and 31 speed. They'll search these stats and then price check it like that. And you shouldn't do that. If it's 30 special attack is irrelevant on a Sandile. Nobody wants it. Even like if it's like the field, what's the egg group for Sandile? Field, nobody, it's an irrelevant stat. You would just ignore that stat and you would just search this, right? One of the biggest mistakes new players make is trying to overprice their Pokemon. Because they don't know why someone is buying something, or like how to actually, like, what the demand is for that Pokemon. So a moment of truth, how many rolled we got lucky. It's a 50-50 roll. We got 2 of them to roll Moxie. So that's some good luck. That is some good luck. Let's go sell these off. Not to the sad music though. Okay, here's the Intimidate Sandile. And due to chat request, I usually like to underestimate sales and get things selling quicker to give you guys better numbers. I'd rather undersell stuff than oversell it in money-making guides, because I want you guys to, you know, make the most. If I say, hey, this method will make you around 200k minimum, and then people go and try it and they make 150k, that's really frustrating. I never want someone to walk away from a video of mine feeling that way, right? But if I'm like, hey, this method makes like 200k Pokeyen minimum, and they go and make 250 or 300k, that to me is like, oh hell yeah, I did my job, you know. But I'm gonna go ahead and sell this for 60k. We're gonna calc on the edge today for chat. So we're gonna do 60k. We're 93k cost. We're gonna count this as 57k. We're gonna subtract the listing fee off of it like that. So we're gonna sell that one for 57, and then, which is still undercutting the market a little bit to a decent degree. And then Moxie ability, we're gonna go check. This is up for 9 days, like 3 days. Like I think the fact that a 2x31 one is 110k, I think these are super overpriced. I can't even price mine that high. I think these would end up being 75k, like at the highest. I think 75k at the highest is as reasonable. One of them's female, which is kind of relevant to be fair. This one is so over. I'll do here. I got it. I'll do 80k on the female one. It's a good breeder. We'll do 80k there, which is plus 75 after listing fee. And we'll do this one at 75k. A small difference, which is plus 70k after. Did I do my math correct? 57 plus 75k. That's insane. So I'm going to end up making minus 93k. I'm going to end up making 100k profit easily on these quick 3 Sandile breeds. I mean, I think it is a storyline breeders market, chat. I think that's fucking sick. Yo, Petrowski, I'm a new gen PokeMMO enjoyer, and I started playing with Black 2 and enjoyed a lot of X and Y and Omega Ruby. I'd like to know, what's your opinion on Mega Evolution? I'm very neutral towards it. Whatever the community wants is kind of my take. I read some forums and everyone is against Megas. That's not my experience. I did a YouTube video. Obviously, how much forums do you have to read to get a proper like data set? Also, if someone's on the Pokemon forums, they're more likely to be a little more old-minded, which is totally fine. I'm neutral towards Megas. Megas, like, I don't really love them and I don't really hate them. I'm like, maybe lean anti-Megas, but whatever the community wants, whatever's best for the game is kind of what I do on that take. I did a poll. I don't think it was for Megas, but I did a poll. I see a lot of people in chat always wanting Megas. I did a poll, I want to say a year ago, maybe a year, 1 to 2 years ago, that was like, do you want Gen 6 in the game? And it was split down the middle. It was, I couldn't believe, I think it was like 60% wanted Gen 6 and 40% didn't. So it was pretty close. It was pretty close. I don't want gimmicks. I've never been a huge fan of the gimmicks either. Gimmicks are very fun for casual play, but very detrimental to balance. It's very possible we see Gen 6 with no Megas or Gen 7 with no... Was that Z moves? Was Gen 7 Z moves, I believe? What was Gen Z moves? Dynamax? Yeah, right? And now Terra. We'll have to see. I think it really comes down to, I think letting your voice be heard, making forum posts, giving arguments, no matter what side you're on for these things. Just, I think letting your voice be heard is really important. Politely and responsibly, and provide arguments. Don't just rant and rage about your feelings. Be like, hey, I think Megas would be bad for the game because of this reason, because of, you know, Kangaskhan. We would hopefully, even if we do add them and we balance them, is it possible to balance them for both PvP and PvM? It feels like a mechanic that's very difficult to do so. Like, there's so many arguments. Provide arguments. Don't just say Mega's bad, Gen 6 bad, you know, provide good arguments. I would love to see that. So a lot of this is I can tell, man, I don't like these arguments. Whenever someone says maybe Gen 6 with Megas for PvE, but not for PvP, this is not an argument that holds true in PokeMMO. People said the same thing for Legendaries in PokeMMO. People always said, oh, just add all Legendaries, ban them in PvP if they're broken, but allow them in PvE, right? This is not a good system or a good thing to do because we have PvM content in PokeMMO that isn't just unbalanced single player experiences, right? If something is broken, because we have an economy, right? Something being broken in the storyline, something being broken in raids, something being is way more impactful, way more, something being broken in a traditional Pokemon game. Legendaries are inherently broken. They're inherently not balanced. Legendaries are for kids. I'm sorry, but they are. They're for kids who are like, here's this special thing because we say it's special. Here's this cool big thing. It's your prize, your reward for finding it and going through the caves of, which is cool. It doesn't have to just be for kids, but they're unbalanced. It's an unbalanced thing that is worth the fun in single player Pokemon. The balance versus the fun is not worth it in PokeMMO. You cannot destroy a raid metagame. You can't, like right now, what we use in raids is very interesting, very diverse. Do we go Sun? Do we go Rain? Do we go fighting types? Do we go Tailwind? Do we go Gravity Pokemon? Do we go Heal Block? There's a lot of really interesting stuff. If Legendaries were to be released, it would be, okay, grab fucking all your Legendaries, grab Mewtwo, like it's gonna be amazing. Like, Legendaries would be the only thing that is used against raids. Already right now, Legendaries are so good against raids. Even the ones we have. Zapdos is insane against raids, and it's irreplaceable. Entei and Moltres are pretty good against raids. They're not broken, but they're quite good. Legendaries are not balanced in a PvE aspect in PokeMMO. It's an MMO, not a single player game. You have to keep that in mind. I feel like this is like the arguments of like Legendaries and PvE versus PvP and like balance of content in Pokemon goes like this. When you have 0 hours played and you're new to the game, just add Legendaries. Or I get so many comments every day. I would have loved PokeMMO, but they don't have Legendaries, so I just don't play. If that's what's keeping you from enjoying a game, more power to you. I think that's cooked. I think that'd be like if I was like, yeah, I really wanted to play Dark Souls, but it's just too hard, so I'm just never gonna play it. Like, don't you think that's something you should like overcome? You know, that feels fucked to me. Mentally, that would like really bother me. And then you have like the level, so that's level 0. You have the level 1 argument of like abandoned in PvP, but not in PvE, not considering all the interesting dynamics we have in PvE content. Things like raids, things like the storylines, things like alt account runs. There's a lot of things you have to factor in. Things like the future of permanent raids, the future of permanent more PvM content they want to add, the battle frontier. There's a lot, right? And then the level 3 argument is like, okay, how do we introduce Legendaries in a non-broken way? Let's look at summoning orbs. Let's look at, you know, roaming Legendaries. How can we implement these things in a positive way that isn't too broken? What Legendaries aren't too broken? Things like the Reggie trios. It's a very clear like line of, I do think the more hours and the more experience you have in PokeMMO, the more your arguments with this change. And it frustrates me to see the same level 1 argument all the time of just ban them in PvP. It's not that simple. It's so obvious to me you have not thought through this position enough, and it really frustrates me. It's so like this is not a difference of opinion. It is an unholdable position. You cannot believe you can just ban Legendaries in PvP and PvE will be fine. You have to balance PvE too. It's not single player Pokemon. It's an MMO. There are markets. There are things to factor in. The Pokeyen per hour when doing certain things. The stale metagames of doing the Ho-Oh refight, like the Red refight. There are tons of PvM activities in the game that make Pokeyen and offer a cool prestige. Do you really want all of those things to boil down to bring 6 Legendaries and fucking legendary Uber spam? That sounds so unfun to me. And it's so frustrating to me when players with not much experience in something try to fix it. Like, I don't know anything about cars, right? Imagine if I walked up to a car guy at a car show and was like, hey man, you really just have to rotate your fucking wheels and shit. That'll how you get more speed. He'd look at me and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this is what? It's please. I encourage you to explore argumentation and learn more, but ask yourself, question your own arguments, and fight against yourself before presenting arguments that are like very, very underdeveloped, I would say. Yeah, it really frustrates me. Not to be too harsh and too mean, but you cannot just add legendaries or megas or a gimmick and just ban them in PvP but not PvE. It would not work. It's unbalanced. You're saying, hey, let's break the game and make it unbalanced. I don't care because I like this thing. I don't want you advocating for and impacting the future of our game if you don't care about the overall player base. You just care about what you want. That really frustrates me. This is a really great niche question that you don't see pop up very often. Someone has a shiny Nosepass in chat, and it's in a Time Swipe Horde, and they're saying the Nosepass has discharge. Will the discharge from the Nosepass deal damage to the other wild Pokemon? It will not. That's a specific, it's a weird thing because obviously if you use discharge with like in a double or triple battle, you will discharge your teammates. But in a wild battle, they made it because that would be so sad. It'd be really, really, really sad if a wild Pokemon could just discharge and prevent you from and kill the shiny. So no, if a wild Pokemon uses like a Surf, for example, it won't hit the other wild mons, which is fantastic. And we're getting back in the Gen 6 discussion, the thing that people love to talk about every single day. And when it comes to 3D versus 2D stuff like that, we're never going to see Gen 6 be introduced in a 2D art style because it would have to be a ROM hack, and that would be copyright. Can't do that. When it comes to, but we're also probably not going to see, this is also my opinion and my thoughts, right? Not fact. I'm not a dev. I don't know. We also most likely won't see the rest of the game become 3D and stuff like that. That'd be silly. We might see the sprites. If the sprites turn 3D in the game by default, we will have a mod to turn them back to 2D, back to 5th gen sprites. So don't even stress about that if you're worried about that. If you prefer the 2D sprites like I do in Gen 5. However, I think the most likely way that Gen 6 will be introduced in PokeMMO graphically will be the same way we have other gens in the game right now, where when you transfer regions, when you change regions in PokeMMO right now, you change between 2D and 2.5D. It's not as noticeable as 2D to 3D, but you already do that. You already change graphic styles depending on which region you're in. So my guess would be the biggest complication between switching from 2.5D to 3D, which we already had a full vanity cosmetic rehaul from 2D to 2.5D when that happened, and like character rehaul. Your in-game character changed visually many years ago. My guess would be they either have to redo every vanity and cosmetic in 3D as a sprite, which would suck. That would you'd only switch to while you're in the region, or like your sprite would be 3D. They would have to. There's two options. They would either update every single vanity and every single cosmetic, and have it be 3D, or they would just make it so that when you switch to Gen 6, you just have like the Gen 6 default Pokemon character, and you just don't have your character and like the visuals of your character. Still have the same Pokemon, the same boxes, the same items, etc. All your accounts there. But they would just be like, fuck it, sorry, no cosmetics, no visuals for your character in Gen 6, which would suck, but it would be the ridiculously vastly easier way to just implement Gen 6 without having to worry about all the back end stuff like that. So that would be maybe you could still customize in Gen 6 based on what Gen 6 offers via the shops in that game, right? But you wouldn't have like the Pokemon cosmetics in that region. Those are the two options in my opinion. You either revamp every cosmetic again for the second or third time in Pokemon history, or in my opinion, just have Gen 6 be its own like separate kind of thing. They also, third option is they start releasing 3D only vanities from that point forward. I don't think they would do that, but I could be wrong. I think that's my guesstimate with 9,000 hours of experience of how they would implement graphically Gen 6 after seeing them go from Gen 1 to 3 to 5 to back to 4 back to 2. So that's my thoughts on the matter. I actually also super agree with this. I used to not agree with this, but the devs talked about it, and now I've changed positions because there's more evidence. Black White 2 is more likely than Gen 6. Yes, we are more likely to get Black and White 2 next as our new region when we do get it in a few years, many years, than Gen 6. I super agree. I didn't think that was the case. I was always in the position of why would they want to add Black and White 2? Because I know it's a different game slightly, but like, is it really that different? I know people argue, oh yeah, it is. They love Black and White 2. But I understand it's a great game, I've heard, but I haven't played it. I don't know if they would just replace. I don't know how that. I don't know how that implementation would work. They would just add a whole new region for that. That feels a little silly versus take over Black and White 1 with Black and White 2. I don't know how they would implement that. I actually have not thought about that enough, so I don't know personally. But we are way more likely. The devs talked about it at one point on the forums. I have a video somewhere, man. Lost, I'm gonna be honest. They talked about how they would most likely need to upgrade the engine to Black and White 2 before ever switching over to Gen 6. Here, Zenarchy gave us an exact quote. Thank you. And I have said this forever, and I've echoed the sentiment. This is from Rache, March 2024. Expanding post-game features is more important than extra storyline content in a few new routes, in my opinion. I couldn't agree with this more. I think casual players who only play the storylines and then quit PokeMMO, all they ever push for is more storylines, which I understand to some extent, but you have to understand the players who... I think the better thing... more storylines, a lot of people just play the new storyline and then quit again, and that's it. Like a lot of players who don't actively play PokeMMO are like, yes, I want a storyline so bad. They come back, they play it for 20 hours, they quit again, and it's like, that didn't change anything. You're still just playing the storyline and quitting, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But what if we added raids, right? Because then raids are a piece of content that is ever like infinitely doable if once it's permanently implemented, that those players who quit when they're bored of storylines would maybe transition into raids, maybe transition into that. Like you have a chance of transitioning more players into endgame players, which is the biggest thing we need right now in PokeMMO. We have no problem getting new players. We have no problem getting people to play the storylines for nostalgia. We have a problem with retaining those players and keeping them around into the endgame, because the endgame is an MMO. The endgame is monotonous, it's grindy. A lot of new gamers don't like that. I love that, but it's not for everybody, and we have to make that, we can still make that style of gameplay fun and interesting. I think raids really do that, you know? And here is the Nosepass in question. That was, dude, this is a great shiny. I actually love this shiny. I think it's a ×5 horde. This is a ×5 horde shiny that like nobody goes for. Congratulations, Tom. I love this. This is a beautiful shiny. I think Nosepass and Probopass are fantastic, dude. Look how slow the... Wait, look at the sparkle animation. They're like barely, because someone told me recently in a comment, which I really appreciated. Apparently the sparkle animation speed is directly tied to, I thought it was the Pokemon's speed, but I don't think it is. It's tied to the Pokemon's animation speed, which maybe that is tied to the speed stat, because like Nosepass is slow. I don't know. I don't know if that's a consistent thing or not. It might be. I'm not sure. But he moves very, very slowly, right? There's barely any, like some sparkles down here. It's kind of funny. He has very long pauses, very few sparkles. Kind of a beautiful shiny, man. Congratulations. I think I have a quick little flip here off of some EV training. So the cheapest Ninetales with 31 special attack, 31 speed, and then like EV trained in 2v2 attack, 2v2 speed is like 300k, 400k. I'm gonna buy this one. There was just an alpha Ninetales swarm. So taking advantage of recent alpha swarms and getting some nice profits out of those is always good. I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna stick this over in it's mild nature, so it's plus special attack, which is plenty good enough for a raid. I'm gonna stick this over what I call my UT box. UT is just a word for untrained, and it means a Pokemon that is like competitive ready or raid ready or whatever, but it needs to be EV trained and XP trained. So I'm gonna work on that immediately, I think. Let's go do, that's the other thing I wanted to do today, was go do some XP training and EV training for profit and for fun. I just love, one of my favorite things in Pokemon is buying like a not great Pokemon and then EV training, XP training it up and making it good, making it usable. Mediocre comps. And nowadays, like good PVM and raid Pokemon is a huge factor. This is a solid Ninetales. Just the nature is slightly suboptimal, but it's totally good enough for raids. I'm gonna go grab some Pokemon to EV train and XP train. We're gonna start off doing special attack and speed. I'm gonna go grab my Pikachu, which I do want to go, yeah, EV train. Actually, if I'm gonna be EV, you know what I can do? I can use this one. If I'm gonna be EV training anyway, it needs to have the right move pool. What is this Pikachu? This is a weird Pikachu. Is this just for... I'll have to give this thing Discharge and give it Sweet Scent, but I could use this as a secondary full hoarding Pikachu like this one. So we might do that here in a quick sec. Head over to UTs and I'm going to find 4 more Pokemon to EV train. We'll get over to... We can EV train this mod at the same time as the other ones, which is cool. All right, here is the Pokemon that I will be EV training today. We've got the Ninetales we talked about. The Pikachu itself will be getting EV trained as well. 2v2 special attack, 2v2 speed. We also have this Butterfree, modest nature. I bred this back in 2023. Really good IVs, 31 Sp.atk, 31 speed, 20 plus in all the HPs and defenses. I would love a competitive Butterfree. What's the Tented Lens, like hidden ability Butterfree would be really cool to have in PvP. Mild Quilava. We have a few. We have 3, and then the rest are just 3 different decent. What is the name? Pineapple. The rest are just 3 different decent Quilavas, which will get turned into Typhlosions, which EV training, SP training needs to be fantastic profit at different times. 20 plus special attack, 20 plus speed, Rache natures all around, I think, or maybe it's like some mild, modest Rache. Yeah. Are they all 3 Rache? All 3 Rache. So I'm gonna go EV train all 6 of these Pokemon, I guess, at once. I'm gonna turn on my XP re-amplifier to get it to every Pokemon. XP shares would work totally fine here. I do need to put Sweet Scent and Discharge on my Pikachu though before I forget, before I get started. This is a great question, and I don't know the answer to it. Someone said, will Alpha Suicune come back? I honestly don't know. Alpha Suicune was a limited time raid that released during the Christmas event, I believe, of 2024. It was very, very recent. And it's very possible it was a limited time Legendary Alpha, and it's possible it returns with a future event. I don't know if we got a confirmation on that. We might have it, I don't remember. But I'm not 100% sure. It's a weird one because I don't even know if the like hidden ability is that good on Suicune. I mean, it's probably better than Pressure, to be fair. Pressure's not great, but it was this raid was so hard. I could see it being limited timed as well, similar to like the alpha starters. But the alpha starters have really good hidden abilities and are cool. But also the big thing with Suicune is it can't be bred over and over again to be shiny hunted the same way alpha starters can. Alpha Suicune is such a weird one because this was so hard to get. Like this raid was really, really hard. Most people did not do it. It took me like 3 hours, I think, with coaching. I got coached for this raid live. There's a video of that on my channel. It was a crazy raid, man. It was intense. So I honestly, it's a weird market to ask about. It's a great question. I'm gonna go EV train for now. I'm gonna go head over to, I think it's over here. I'm gonna go over to there's a great new special attack EV training spot with Girafarig and Flaffy. So really good shiny opportunities, as well as a great way to special attack EV train. I did PP max my Pikachu as well for the Sweet Scent because that's very, very important. We're gonna move the Discharge and Surf up. I'm gonna use Surf first against, electric type mons. They'll do a little bit more damage, I believe, than Discharge. I'll have to calculate on that, but I think it should be more. I think the EV training spot, is it here? Or I think it's right up here, right? This is one of my new favorite. Johto added a lot of really cool EV training spots, and this is one of them. Yep. They're going to special attack EV train. Great shinies here. Great spot. Super recommended in Johto, north of Mahogany Town. All right, this is it. The final horde we needed for special attack EV training. It would have been a lot faster if I didn't run away from so many hordes on accident, but that's okay. There we go. I'm gonna head over to speed next. Now, I don't know exactly where I'm doing speed, but we'll figure it out here in a quick sec. Probably I do the Linoon a lot. I wouldn't mind. It's a great orange shiny. There might be better spots though. Poliwhirl is what I always forget. I should go to Poliwhirl. I always think that I need to do like Linoon. If I'm doing like a beginner guide for XP or for EV training, I usually do Linoon because it's not a new player is not going to have access to Mount Silver, right? But if I'm just doing something for me, for my own gameplay, Poliwhirl is phenomenal. The XP you get, the speed. I could arguably pop an XP charm. / I probably will actually while doing Poliwhirl here because that's how good it is. And then I can probably finish EV training in a bit here. And then just switch over to Rampardos, switch over to like the best XP training spot in the game is right here. And then some of the best speed EVs are right here. So I can just pop a charm, EV train there, and then head up there. Easy to get some nice training done. Pat, are you doing any events this week? I'm not sure if you're asking like official events or catch events. Nothing planned at the moment, but just in case, I am hosting a PokeMMO communal shuntathon. I haven't talked about it yet or today. Quick reminder, March 20th. I think someone thought I said 28th in a recent video. Maybe I misspoke. March 20th, okay? March 20th, this Thursday, 12 p.m. ET. I want to get as many people shunting in one location as possible to see how many shines we can get within an hour, each hour, right? I was going to do Sandslash, but I got shiny Sandslash, so it's going to get changed. I don't know where the new spot, we have to like kind of discuss and plan it out. It'll probably be, I want it to be a ×5 horde spot near a PC for a shiny that I don't have yet, that also has like duplicates and also has fails so people can hunt there for a while. So we have to kind of think about it, but I will try to get that information. I'll try to update you guys on the new spot as soon as possible, but that will be coming very, very soon. We might just do Dratini, even though it kind of doesn't really require, you can do that spot without Leppas. It's less efficient, but you could do that spot without Leppas. I might, Ferroseed Clank, I might do. I would love a Ferroseed. That's honestly a good idea. That's in Unova. We'll swap around throughout the event to hopefully allow players who only have certain regions done to be able to participate. I'm really excited to do that. And sorry, I should have prefaced, if you get a shiny, if you come and you hunt and you get a shiny, let me know in stream chat. Say, hey Pat, I just got a shiny, and then I'll spectate you, confirm you got a shiny, or you can, worst case scenario, link it to me after, and I'll just get the catch data or whatever. And I'll give you a prize. I have a prize box set up. I'm going to be spinning a random wheel and giving away a random prize to people who get shinies at this event. So keep an inventory space open for the prize box prize, but that'll be a lot of fun to give away some raid Pokemon and Pokemon during this shiny huntathon. Basically a multi-prize shiny catch event. It kind of. The plan might be, I don't know, I'm not going to promise this, but the plan might be to do a 5-hour stream, probably like 6 hours or so, but like 5 hours where we do 1 hour in each region. So 1 hour in Kanto, we would go like chronologically as well. 1 hour in Kanto, 1 hour in Hoenn, and we'll do a spot that hopefully someone has that region unlocked. Obviously, if you miss that region, then I'll try my best to get everybody. I want it to be very accessible because anybody can shiny hunt, man. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so yeah, someone asked for a hot dessert take. I don't know if I have one, to be honest. I've tried to think, but like my only, so I have 2 takes to give for the food take of the day. Number 1, Nothing Bundt Cake is phenomenal. If you have one near you and have not tried it, I think Nothing Bundt Cake is some of the best cake you can buy. Super fucking good. Pretty expensive and pretty rich, but it's worth it for special events like birthdays or Valentine's Day. It's great, etc., etc. Nothing Bundt Cake is phenomenal. Take number 1. Take number 2, Crumble Cookie is so mediocre. Crumble Cookie, for the price, for the flavor, some of them aren't even warmed up. Man, Crumble Cookie is real mediocre. I'd rather go to the grocery store and get some like super cheap cookie dough, and like Crumble Cookie is crazy mediocre. My wife had a phase where she really enjoyed it. We would go every so often and split a cookie, but it's man, Crumble Cookie is not good in my opinion. All right, this should be the final discharge for speed EVs. There we go. Someone asked a question. Aren't legendaries better for farmers to get the orb drops? This is a great question. I get this a lot. So if I were to use Zapdos for like the chance at elemental orb drops, right? I would have to have another Pokemon in my party for Sweet Scent. So I would have to get rid of, essentially, I'd have to only EV train 4 Pokemon as opposed to EV training 5. And that's not worth it. You get like 1 elemental orb drop every like hour and a half of XP training and EV training. So it's like, think of it as getting an elemental orb where they're worth 20k, 30k. It's like getting, yeah, they're usually 20 to 30k. This is like getting like 12.5k an hour, right? It's not that good, unfortunately. It's notable if you're doing a ton of XP training in a spot where you can do that, but I'd rather train the 5th. I'd rather EV train the 5th Pokemon personally, since Pikachu can do Sweet Scent and the discharge. However, also for things, I'm about to go XP train. I just finished EV training, so I'm about to go XP train. Now, when XP training, I usually can only fit 4 Pokemon in my party. However, even when XP training, I'm gonna get rid of like a Typhlosion, maybe the Butterfree we'll put over here. When XP training, the best XP training spot in the game uses special attacking Rampardos. So, can this kill? I think it might be able to. So even then, you can't really use the Zapdos for elemental orbs. It's a cool thing to, if you have it and you're like I think Zapdos XP training, if it works for you, cool. But in like end game stuff, most of the time it's not worth using one of the legendaries like Zapdos or EV or XP training from all the spots that I've seen. All right, so I'm going to start XP training right here to the east of this little PC in Mount Silver. This is the best spot in the game. I'm going to be using Surf Rampardos. If you don't know, this is the strat. You need Mold Breaker to break through the Donphans sturdy, as well as kill the Dodrio hordes. It's a split horde spot. I'll be using Pikachu for the Sweet Scent, because why not? And then I'm starting with 36 minutes left in the XP Charm. Typhlosion level 50. All Typhlosion level 50. And then Ninetales level 73. So I'm just going to get started. I'll see you guys when the XP Charm is up and how much XP we actually gained. This is a good little quick PokeMMO vocab lesson. When people say things in trade chat, what do they mean by WTB, WTS, and WTT? Most of those mean similar things. WTB is willing to buy. WTS is willing to sell. And then WTT is willing to trade. So it's like, it's basically, hey, I'm selling this for TS. Hey, I'm buying this for WTB. It's funny that those terms have stuck around. They are terms from like 2013 PokeMMO. Wait, that's the end of the XP Charm. I did not get that much XP, but these are level 50 and then level 57? Holy shit. I realized into the XP farming, my Rampardos was not consistently killing the Donphans, which was not great. However, it was like the leftover bit of an XP Charm, so that was not a good 36 minutes if you got distracted by chat, but that's okay. Still a pretty good process. Good progress. Sorry, excuse me. I'm cooked today, boys. I'm probably going to just call it here, boys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's stream. I think we talked, ranted, discussed a lot of things very passionately about PokeMMO. If you disagree with anything I said today, that is totally okay. Just please present the opinions politely as possible and just respectfully. Just in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. You know, dislike if not. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see videos every single day. Twitch streams Monday through Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. Discord's down below. And if you want to go above and beyond and support the content, YouTube memberships, PayPal, Twitch subs, and Factor subs are the best way to support, honestly. So thank you guys so much for watching. Just thank you for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you're playing Pokemon, having fun, enjoying the grind. And good luck on your shinies. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace, Areno. Yo, Petrowski here, and I wanted to thank you personally for watching the video until the very end. I really, really appreciate that. And if your name is on this list, thank you to the moon and back, because you allow me to even make these videos by supporting the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.